snap it again. 33 seconds to go. And Pickett will take the football and take the knee. And that's going to round it up. We will count down these seconds for you.
That'll do it, boys.
They
and
are
girls.
jamming the field. 18, 17, 16, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's over. The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. It's their second Super Bowl win in 7 years. What a game. What a season. What a team. The greatest Eagles team in modern history. Eagles fans, savor it and rejoice.
Eagles fans are so unbelievable, and I love this for the Eagles fan. They get an opportunity to really celebrate a great football team. This is not a good football team. This is a great football team. They prove week in and week out that they are the best football team in the National Football League. They put a stamp on it here tonight at the Superdome, bringing home the Lombardi Trophy. Let's get ready to party.
You're absolutely right.
For the second time, the Vince Lombardi Trophy is headed to Philadelphia. Eagles fly in Super Bowl 59.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was
I
awesome.
can't believe it.
Huh? I know. That's why I had to play that. But where is Cleneth? Hope he didn't fall asleep. But yeah, let's recap and hopefully it comes on. Where should we start? The first. I'll let you start. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you say? That win just felt like, honestly, the cherry on top to a really dominant season. After probably the Rams game, I would say, especially after Detroit lost, I had a very strong feeling we would win the Super Bowl. And once we played the Chiefs, I was like, Mahomes is great team, great defense, but you take Mahomes off that roster, they're not a playoff team. You put a backup quarterback, they're not a playoff team. You drop a backup quarterback into this roster, they're probably going to be a wild card team or contend for a playoff. So I just knew we were the better team. I think if you ask anybody in Philly, any Philly fan, they kind of knew as well. The national media played with this three-peat narrative, but those who are really watch this team week in and week out knew that they were going to end up winning. So
exactly. In our final records, yeah, the Eagles dominated the game. I mean, the first drive should have been a touchdown. That was BS OPI, but it didn't matter at the end because after that we stopped. Everything that we named, all the keys that we named off on the preview show that we did last week. Eagles did. They pressured Mahomes. They forced turnovers, 3 turnovers. They won the turnover battle. The offensive line kept Hurts on his feet, which was the key. Big X factor for the offensive line. Cooper Dijon, what's his name? No, Cooper is his last name, right?
no, it's Cooper DeJean.
Cooper DeJean, his birthday interception, INT, pick 6. I called that. I thought it was going to be later in the game, but it actually kind of did seal the game because after that, I knew they were going to win. After that pick six, I knew it was over. You could see it all over the Chiefs' face, especially Mahomes. You could tell Mahomes knew this wasn't going to be his night. You could really tell. If you look at his face, he was like not himself on Sunday for some reason. I think all this three-peat talk got to the Chiefs. They folded under pressure, especially Mahomes. He's still great, but I still consider Brady the GOAT right now. But he could be the GOAT at the end of his career. But right now, it's still Brady. But there's still an argument for him to be the GOAT. But
Mahomes could be the GOAT. People are saying, oh, like Mahomes, he's only 29. He ripped off like 5 Super Bowl appearances with 3 rings. Yeah, I get it. But people don't put, just like LeBron early on in his career, people don't put enough stock into the losses.
Yep.
The losses that Brady had, they're close losses. They weren't, again, the 2 against the Giants came down to last plays, last drives. The one against Philadelphia was really close until the fourth quarter. Mahomes has laid 2 eggs in the Super Bowl. 2 eggs. Brady would never do that. He would find a way. He would adjust. And Brady never had the offensive coordinator that Andy Reid had. And this is coming from someone that was at times calling Mahomes the GOAT in the last year or two, saying that he's more talented than Brady, which I think he is.
Yes.
But between the ears, Brady's unmatched, and you don't put enough stock into the mental game of Brady and just his winning attitude. So Mahomes laying 2 eggs in the Super Bowl, yeah, he
Brady
gets
never got blown
credit for
out.
that. Yeah, Brady always found a way.
28-3 down.
Yeah,
Mahomes hadn't done that yet.
Brady always found a way.
Down.
Yeah.
He was getting blown out in the first half, but he managed to come back and win that Super Bowl. Mahomes could have done that on Sunday, but
say what you want about the offensive line. The offensive line sucked. Say what you want about Vic Fangio's defense. Vic Fangio's defense was great. But this is the same offensive line they've had all year, and they've found great success. And they've played really good defenses as well. And Mahomes, I don't care if he was under pressure all night. I don't care if his offensive line failed him. As good as people say Andy Reid is, and as good as Patrick Mahomes, they say Patrick Mahomes is, they should have found some way. I don't think that would have made a difference. I think the Eagles still would have won. But if they're that great, they shouldn't have gotten bullied like that. No way. No way.
Exactly.
Mahomes or Brady would never get bullied like that. So
nope.
2 eggs in the Super Bowl, 2 legit eggs in the Super Bowl.
One against Brady.
Yep. So I don't want to hear.
He lost against Brady. He never beat Brady in the playoffs, even when Brady was in the AFC. Then because he couldn't get over that hump. Because I forget, did he face him twice in the playoffs before the Super Bowl?
He played some. No, he played him. Brady's last year in New England was the first time. I'm pretty sure the first time they played in the playoffs in the AFC Championship game. That's when the Rams played New England in the Super Bowl. New England won. Brady left, and then the Chiefs and 49ers after that, or something like that. Oh wait, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Mahomes might have beaten Brady because Brady lost his last year in New England, left, and then won with the Bucs the next year. And I think that year he lost was the Chiefs-Niners, the first one when Mahomes won. But Mahomes lost twice to Brady, both as a Patriot and as a Buck. And I don't think he's ever beat Brady, even as a Patriot. So
who did Mahomes' first Super Bowl was against the
49ers.
2020?
So last year was Chiefs 49ers. Year before that was Eagles. Chiefs. The year before that was
Rams and Bengals.
Year before that was
Bucks and Chiefs.
Bucks Chiefs. Before that was
Chiefs and Niners.
Chiefs, Niners. And before that was
Patriots, Rams.
Patriots, Rams, and then Patriots, Eagles.
Oh yeah. So Mahomes been to back-to-back twice, and then
He's only
back-to-back
lost twice, and he's only lost 3 times in the playoffs. One against Brady as a Patriot.
Yep.
One against Brady as
in the Super Bowl.
the Bucks, and then against Jalen Hurts.
Yep. So he's 1-1 against Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is the only one that has beaten him. Allen and no, Burrow beat him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Burrow is the only AFC
So he's
quarterback.
17-4.
Yep. Burrow is the only AFC quarterback to beat the Chiefs. To beat Mahomes.
Yep.
But let me see.
So yeah, Mahomes lost in 2019 to Brady in the AFC Championship. The following year, he won the Super Bowl against San Francisco, and then he lost to Tampa Bay, and then he lost to Joe Burrow.
Yep.
And then he
And
lost.
then
He hasn't lost in the playoffs in 3 years.
Yeah, he hadn't lost in the playoffs since they lost to the Bengals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Joe Burrow was the last one to beat Mahomes until last Sunday.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you guys this. I was hoping he was gonna come on, but I've seen this on multiple for Facebook mainly. Where do you have Hurts in the conversation of best Eagles quarterback?
Best. I don't think there's conversation. There's no conversation. This is the whole argument with numbers versus winning success. He's been in the Super Bowl twice and he won one. Not that Foles was the greatest Super Bowl or the greatest QB in Eagles history over McNabb, only because he won a Super Bowl. But Foles didn't have the body of work that Jalen Hurts does. We're 2 Super Bowl appearances. He's a starter, multi-year starter in his second contract. It's Hurts. I don't see how anyone can argue otherwise.
I slightly have McNabb, but that's because of the numbers. But I can see the argument for Hurts. I don't dispute either one. It's probably 1A, 1B. But I know McNabb lost in the Super Bowl. I get it. I've been critical of McNabb in the past, but stat-wise, he is the best. But I can see the argument for Hurts. So
I think Hurts could retire tomorrow, and I think he would still be the best. And that's just my opinion because Hurts, there needs to be context with his numbers because he's not asked to do a lot. And people will say, oh, Hurts' numbers aren't that good compared to Burrow, Allen, or Lamar. Those guys are better because their numbers are better. Fine, whatever. I don't care. Hurts has had better rosters, and that's fine because I also don't care because I'd rather have the quarterback do what's needed to be done for his team to win, whether it's to throw the ball, whether it's to run the ball, whether it's to literally hand it off to Saquon Barkley. He makes the right decisions. He makes the right plays. Those other guys haven't experienced the success Jalen Hurts has. And Jalen Hurts has proven that if they need him to throw the ball, if they need him to put up numbers, he can. And he did that the last 2 games. That he barely did that all year. And then he was like, okay, on the biggest stage, he showed up. So that's why he's my greatest. Because I think there needs to be context given to his numbers. If you say McNabb, I don't disagree. I can see the argument for him, but for me, it's winning over everything. And the fact that he's been to 2 Super Bowls before the age, he's 26.
Yeah,
he's 26, and he's already Super Bowl champion, been to Super Bowl twice, Super Bowl MVP. Like that's winning wise, that's a Hall of Fame resume. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is going to go to Hall of Fame, but that's a Hall of Fame resume, winning wise.
The reason I say McNabb slightly, I say slightly, because he did it with less until T.O. got there. He did it with Todd Pinkston and James. I call him Trash, but yeah, he did it with two receivers that weren't on the level of AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. That's the only reason and the stat wise, he's still number one in passing in most of the franchise records. And I can't argue Hurts either. So it's probably like 1A, 1B if you want to go that way. But it's like the MJ and LeBron argument. But
With McNabb, though, when he did get to that stage,
he choked.
He choked.
Yeah,
He choked.
I know.
And it's the same thing with Josh Allen. It's the same thing with Lamar Jackson. As good as Joe Burrow is, I think he's the only true, and you can even say Jalen Hurts at this point. I think Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts are the only true, I won't say equals, but true competitors right now to Patrick Mahomes, because they both have beaten him. And Joe Burrow, I know his team didn't make the playoffs, and I know I give him a lot of shit, but he has the X factor. Sometimes these quarterbacks have it. Sometimes, you look at them, you see them play. Jalen Hurts might not put up the prettiest numbers. It might not look the prettiest, but if you're going to say, I need to go get a win, he's going to go get you that win.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts, he has way more talent than probably anybody in the league and anybody else had in Eagles history, but he doesn't choose his talent. He maximizes it. How many other teams out there have all the talent around them and they suck? Look at Aaron Rodgers. He had Devontae Adams, as Garrett Wilson, as Breece Hall, and they sucked.
Yep, exactly.
So there's something to be said about having a good roster and good coaching. And that's the ultimate argument that football's a team sport. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I only have McNabb slightly, and if they win another Super Bowl, then Hurts is number.
I don't think he needs to win another Super Bowl to prove it. I think he just needs to play for a long time, and the numbers will catch up. So if your argument that McNabb has the larger body of work over a longer period of time, you can't argue that. But Jalen Hurts just needs more time.
Yeah, so. That's just that's my argument. Just slightly right now, I have McNabb. Maybe because I grew up with watching McNabb too, but slightly. And I'm not the biggest McNabb fan either. I've been critical. I was very critical of McNabb back in the day. It's hard to say back in the day, but back in 20 years ago. But yeah. And do you put him in the top? I guess you do put him in top 3 quarterbacks right now.
No, I don't know. It's such a weird argument. And after Jalen Hurts just won the ring, I really don't care. Yeah. I really don't care. If you put him in the top 5, if he's not in your top 5, I'm not going to argue with you. If he's not in anyone's top 10 at this point, they're just bullshitting themselves. But if you're saying that Jalen Hurts is not a top 5 quarterback, sure, that's fine. It's probably Lamar. I still think Lamar's the best quarterback in the league. It's probably Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, and then whether you want to put Justin Herbert in there. You can put Hurts in there. You can put Stafford in there. You can put Jaden Daniels in there. Even I would say Jaden Daniels is probably a better pure quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I don't think anyone would argue that.
I do too. But I have Hurts ahead of Daniels right now. I want to see what Daniels does in his sophomore year. We saw what CJ did in his sophomore year, and he still got to the playoffs, but he didn't have a great year like he did his rookie year. So always that sophomore slump that you have to get past.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, people can argue till they're blue in the face about who's a better quarterback between all these quarterbacks. I don't care. All I care is that my teams are winning Super Bowls, and we've been in the Super Bowl twice in the last 3 years. That's all I care about. Yep. So if you want to argue that Joe Burrow and that Jalen Hurts isn't a better pure quarterback than these other people, sure. But I'll argue that he's a better football player and he's a better winner, because what did Lamar Jackson do? laid another egg. And I love Lamar Jackson. I just said he's the best quarterback in the league. Josh Allen, how many times has Jalen Hurts beat Patrick Mahomes already? He beat him twice. Twice.
Yep.
Josh Allen can't even beat him in the playoffs. This is the weakest Chiefs team Josh Allen has probably seen in his career, and he couldn't get the job done. So I don't want to hear it with all this Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert talk. My quarterback's the Super
Justin
Bowl.
Herbert's not in the conversation anymore.
He has all the talent in the world. He's probably the most talented quarterback in the league, if we're being honest, Justin Herbert. But there's
Probably
something
is.
about winning.
And a year from now, we could be seeing a different tune because Josh Allen could get over the hump. Some people do get over the hump, or even Lamar Jackson. So, and if Kansas City has a Super Bowl hangover, which they very well could if they don't improve their offensive line,
They will. They're not going to make the Super Bowl next year.
It's hard to make it 4 times. They got lucky to make it 3 times.
People forget that Tom Brady didn't make it for 10 years. 10 years. And Tom Brady made it to 10 Super Bowls. But he didn't make it for 10 years. He had all that success in the early 2000s. And then he finally made it back 10 years later. It's come 10 years to rebuild and retool.
LeBron James, same thing.
Yeah.
Look how long LeBron James went in 2007. He carried that Cavs team and went, and then he didn't get back until 3 years later, but he was in Miami. But that's not here or there. I don't want to get into the conversation of Michael Jordan and LeBron right now. That we could go on for that for days, but
yeah,
that argument is blue in the face too, because people are going to say MJ, people are going to say LeBron, and I'm a fan of both, so I can argue both. Some people are just one side, but
you want to know why the Eagles won the Super Bowl? Is because they don't care about stats. They truly do not care about stats. They truly do not care about accolades, about awards. Like Saquon Barkley could have easily set the record, and he said no. The coach said no. Like, no, we have bigger fish to fry. We got a bigger goal here. That's why they won, because everyone bought into that mentality of Super Bowl or bust, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And if you put I don't think if you put, and people will say, oh, if like Lamar Jackson had like Jalen Hurts had the Eagles roster, or Josh Allen had the Eagles roster, they would have won it all. And I don't think that's the case. I don't, because the reason the Eagles won is because the winning mentality that and the leadership that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni have instilled since the day they got here. The day they got here, it was all about winning over everything. And it's not like that anywhere else in the league. There's very few teams that really, really, truly mean winning over anything. And it's like the Chiefs and the Eagles. That's it.
Yep.
So.
And I'm not saying this because I'm biased, but I probably am, but I think the Eagles can repeat next year. I really do think there's
I 100% agree.
I really do think there's a great chance that we repeat. Look at the roster we have. They're all under, what, 20?
Average age is 26 and a half. 26 and a half is the average age.
So most of the roster is under 27.
Yes.
And we might even get, remember, the defense, on how great the defense was, we might even go out and get Myles Garrett.
I don't think we do. I don't think we can afford him. I think that if anything, we might trade up and grab like an Abdul Carter, which might be really hard. I mean, we could get Myles Garrett, right? I don't know.
You never know with Howie Roseman. He's pulled some miracles. Look, we got AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Basically nothing.
So I don't know.
If we got Myles Garrett, damn.
I think that we get someone like Max Crosby, who's like maybe an elite pass rusher, but not like top tier one. Or he's probably tier one, but he's not like defensive player of the year tier.
Yeah.
I will say Huh?
You think he would be cheaper to get?
Max Crosby? Yeah. Miles Garrett just won. What last? He's got a multiple. Miles Garrett's already a Hall of Famer. He's a multiple time defensive player of the year. Max Crosby is a tier 1 pass rusher for sure, but he's not Miles Garrett.
Unless Miles Garrett went to he's already requested a trade. Unless he's told them, "Hey, I want to go to the Eagles or something." Then
The financials have to work out.
yeah,
Our number one priority. So the biggest it's going to be Zach Bond, who I'd be shocked if we didn't re-sign. He's going to be number one priority. He's going to get a big contract, well deserved. He'll stay in Philadelphia. Josh Sweat's gone for sure. Milton Williams is gone for sure. They're going to get big deals, but we have replacements in Jalix Hunt. We have replacements in Mora Ojimo. We saw Bryce Huff. I wouldn't be surprised if we just end up trading him. I will say I would be shocked. I don't know if we get like the big like Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown type signing again, just because like I think we're kind of capped on those, but I will be shocked if Howie Roseman doesn't have a splash move this offseason. I would be shocked if he's not aggressive once again. I'll be shocked if he just stays put and just like, we're just gonna roll with what we got. Because he knows, everybody knows, you just said it, we could repeat. And the roster is young, and he's gonna, once again, like he always does, he's gonna maximize every ounce of talent that he can get for this roster.
can he be the GM of the Sisters?
My biggest fear is that Howie Roseman leaves because he gets bored in Philadelphia. That someone gives him like an ownership stake in another organization. That's my biggest fear. Because there's all those rumblings about, the Jets should go and get Howie Roseman and then just give him some ownership stake. Like, that's my biggest fear, is that Howie Roseman leaves.
I think it would depend on the team.
If we rip off, and again, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I'm not saying that we're gonna win another Super Bowl at all with this team. Like that could have been our last. This could be our last Super Bowl of our life. There's a possibility. It's very, very, very hard to win a Super Bowl. But I will say that if we do rip off like one or two more, I can see Howie Roseman be like, I want to try something different. I can totally see that.
I mean, could Jeffrey offer him an ownership spot just to prevent him from leaving?
I think it's more so the challenge for Howie Roseman. I think he would want to see, can I do it with another team? Can I do it with another team that's really bad from the ground up? And then the ownership stake would be a sweetener. But I don't know. He's a Hall of Famer. I don't know what it takes to get into the Hall of Fame as an executive.
I've always been critical of how he wrote. I've been critical of how he wrote after what happened.
He should have legitimately been fired after the Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson debacle. He should have.
That's why I was very critical of him. But he's won me over. Same thing with Hurts.
Hindsight's 20/20.
I've been critical of Hurts.
Yeah.
And if Hurts is, I'll be critical when these people deserve it. So that's the only way. That's the only time I'm critical is when.
Yeah.
And right now, like for instance, I'm critical of the Sisters right now, but I don't want to get into that. But
I don't give a shit about the Sixers. I didn't give a shit about the Sixers even before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know.
Just get that loser team away from me. I don't.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, after this week, it's baseball mode for me. So
yeah.
Hopefully this rubs on the Phillies, and the Phillies have their redemption year. I mean, last year was supposed to be their redemption year, but they got cold at the wrong time again. But hopefully, this is the year, because they have the roster to win the World Series too. But the Dodgers are in that way. Unfortunately, the Dodgers are loaded, and I don't think there's anybody like to knock them off as of right now. But I think the Chiefs are still the favorite this year. Let me check. I would even put a little small wager on Hurts winning the MVP this year.
I don't know. I don't know if the offense is gonna like suddenly open up for him to do that, and I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Maybe that's great. I don't know. My pick would probably be Jaden Daniels if we're being honest. I think he's legit. I don't think he's gonna have the regression, the sophomore slump that CJ Stroud had. I
Yeah.
think Jaden Daniels is very, very special.
Yeah, Barkley.
Barkley.
Barkley. 5,000.
Who's the MVP favorite next year?
Next year is
Josh
Lamar.
Allen? Lamar, yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Lamar, yeah.
Barkley is
Lamar should have won
50
it
to
this year. Saquon's not going to have another season like he did this year. He'll have a great season, but this is a once in a generation type season.
Joe Burrow is 6-1. Patrick Mahomes 8-1. Daniels is not 950 to 9.5. And 950 to 1. Not 950. 9.5 to 1. Jalen Hurts is 20 to 1. That's insane. Prescott 35 to 1. Cameron Williams 30 to 1. Brock Purdy 30 to 1. Bo Nix 60 to 1. Stafford 50 to 1.
Dallas is going to be bad next year again. I don't see a path for them to be better. I don't. I really don't.
Look at who they hired as coach.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The Eagles are favorite 6-1. Kansas City and Baltimore right behind. Buffalo, Detroit 10-1.
You know why the Eagles are going to be good? Again, not only because of the roster, but because Vic Fangio is staying. Vic Fangio is going to be our defensive coordinator until he decides to retire. It's the same, just like Buddy Ryan, just like Jim Johnson. Like it's gonna be one of those scenarios because this was always his dream job.
He died, I think, before he retired.
Yeah,
I remember. But rest in peace. But yeah, Vic is the best defensive coordinator we had since Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah,
but that Jimmy Johnson's defense was great.
I think people always talk about. Yeah, people always talk, and yeah, Andy Reid and Mahomes deserve a lot of the credit. They're not making it. They would not have had a chance at a three-peat if it wasn't for Spags. I think Spags was the unsung hero because the last two Super Bowls that they won, it's been the Chiefs' defense. It's been Spags. I mean, Spags kind of laid an egg against. I know. Let's say the last 2 years, I should say, after the Eagles' first Super Bowl appearance with them, Spags has been the star of the show. Like, look what he did to Josh Allen. Like, so having that continuity, that old miserable guy as your defensive coordinator, and it raises the floor for your entire organization to win year in and year out. Like offensive coordinators are going to come and go in this league, but
I'm surprised Spags hasn't got a call for head coaching.
He doesn't want to. See, these are the older guys that they really don't want to be a head coach. They just want to sit and do defense only.
Yeah, and offense.
Jim Schwartz.
Who's in line for offensive coordinator for us? And congratulations to Moore for getting the head coaching job.
Yeah. I think Kellen Moore was good. I don't think he was great. I still think we left a lot of meat on the bone as far as our offense goes.
So we're going to have our third different offensive coordinator in 3 years? Or the four different ones in 4 years?
It's Shane Steichen, Brian. Shane Steichen, what, 2 years?
Because the one that left for Arizona 2 years ago. And then we had
No, that was Jonathan Cannon. That's the defensive coordinator. Shane Steichen went to Indy. I think he was here the Super Bowl year. I don't know if he was here the year before that. I'm pretty sure he was here the year before that. So Nick Sirianni's first year, we made the playoffs. That was before we got AJ Brown. We lost against the Tom Brady's Bucks. Following year, so we've had Shane Steichen 2 years, and then we had Brian Johnson for 1 year, Kellen Moore for 1 year, and then we're gonna have another one. But that just happens to the best teams.
Yeah, and then all those the one that left after Frank Wright left after we won the Super Bowl the first time.
Yeah.
Could they bring him back?
No, I don't want him. I don't want him.
They're gonna hire him in, right? Or did they bring?
I hope they don't. The Kevin Patullo, who is a passing game coordinator, is the favorite right now because he was passed over twice, I think, already. At least he was passed over this time around. It was between Kellen Moore and Kevin Patullo, and they chose Kellen Moore. And Kevin Patullo is the favorite to get it, to just be promoted. But they do also have a list of external candidates that they're considering. I honestly hope they go outside. I don't want Kevin Patullo. Bobby Slowick is out there. He's a hot name because him and Ben Johnson 2 years ago were the hottest candidates for head coaches, and they both signed extensions to go back to their teams. Bobby Slowick is a Houston coordinator. He got let go. He got fired this past season because Houston wasn't as good. But he's still a good coordinator.
Then Ben Johnson got the head coaching job at the Bears. Was it Bears?
Yeah, the Bears.
That was a good hire for them. And I don't know if Detroit's going to be as good as they were this year, too.
No, they're going to regress. They're going to regress.
Because of
that's all their coordinators. Yeah. I don't think they're going to honestly, I would be shocked if the Eagles weren't the number 1 seed next year. That's how confident I am in this team. If they're healthy, the Eagles should be the number 1 seed next year.
I actually don't want the number 1 seed. I think the number 1 seed is kind of bad luck in the NFC.
I agree. If you take a look at the last, I think one of the trends I was looking at before the Super Bowl, it was like, I think I forget, it's some crazy stat that a majority of the winners have gone through the wild card round. Something like that.
Because the AFC obviously has been the Chiefs. So, and they were number 1 seed this year. They were number 2 last year, I think. But yeah, they were number 2 last year.
Yeah, because the Ravens were number 1 last year.
Yeah, Ravens were number 1 last year.
So you typically win if you go through the wild card round. So
because of the momentum. Because look at Washington. Washington was what, 6? Yeah, they were 6, and they went all the way to the NFC Championship. So I don't want the number 1 seed. I hope Detroit goes for it again. But I don't. You think San Francisco will be back next year?
No, I think they stink.
I don't think Brock Purdy's the answer. I've been saying that for 3 years. They need a quarterback. I think Seattle's on the up and up. Seattle is on the up and up. Seattle could be Minnesota of this year. Next year. You still there? Oh.
Yeah. I think
Seattle could be Minnesota.
49ers are going to fall off. Seattle, I don't know. DK Metcalf might leave. Is Geno still going to be the quarterback? Geno's great. I don't know. I just feel like they're kind of hit their ceiling with this current regime.
The Rams
current roster. Stafford's gone.
How much does Stafford have left?
They said there's strong rumors he might go to New York. They might trade for him in New York. The Rams
Jet?
just got, huh?
The Jets
Are you
or
there?
Giants?
The Giants.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Aaron
because the
Rodgers
Giants
not
currently
going.
don't have a path to. They have a top pick in the draft, but the quarterbacks might be gone.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is not returning to the Jets. I heard. Or what's the
Yeah,
rumor in Aaron
he's
Rodgers?
no, he's not returning. So I would be shocked if they go for another quarterback. They're probably just gonna rebuild again.
Where does Aaron
Um,
Rodgers end up? Maybe he goes to LA. Goes
he's gonna
back home.
retire.
You think he'll go home? Return?
Yeah,
He if he may go to San Francisco if they want to move on from Brock.
no, they're not. They're not gonna move off from Brock. You have a younger guy who's been to the Super Bowl, who's been like solid. I don't think he's a top. I don't even think he's top 10 quarterback. He's been solid. So they're gonna extend him. Plus, he's not gonna get like record-setting money just because he had a down year this year.
Yep.
But so he'll be relatively affordable for
I could
for
see
the
the Rams.
49ers.
If the Rams are moving on from Stafford, the Rams could take a leap.
I just think the Rams are going to start soft rebuild. Stafford's getting old. I think he might be due an extension soon. They just got rid of Cooper Cup, or they're going to get rid of Cooper Cup, so they're going to enter a soft rebuild. I really think you start seeing some new teams develop in the NFC. The Eagles are going to be kings again. I think the Bears are going to be good next year. Packers are going to be good. Vikings, I think, are going to stink. Huh?
Who the NFC West is easily up for grabs, so I don't know who's going to come out of that.
Yeah. Probably San Francisco. But I don't think San Francisco is going to be legit contenders. Like, George Kittle's probably gone, or Debo's definitely gone.
Arizona, maybe?
I think they overachieved this year, but I couldn't name you a single, like, who's their wide receivers? Who's their running back? Like, James
Marvin
Conner's
Harrison.
getting old. Oh, yeah, that's right. They have Marvin Harrison. Defense is playing well. Yeah, maybe Arizona. I don't know.
Arizona gets they get a legit running back. I mean, nothing against Connor. They get another running back. They get another weapon on the other side of Harrison. They could be not legit contenders, but they could be in the running for division, for at least the division.
Yeah.
And Kyle Murray is still, he had a bounce back year. As much as people gave him shit for being injured and all that, he did have a bounce back year.
He had a very solid year that I think wasn't appreciated enough, all things considered. Because Arizona was much better than they should have been.
Yep, and everybody was riding off Murray. Even people were saying, "Oh, they should draft what was it, Kevin Williams? They should have traded Murray." Murray was on the trade block for a little while in Arizona. They were considering drafting another quarterback.
Yeah.
Weren't they?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he was owed money, so so the Cowboys are going to suck. Washington's probably going to be good. Washington, honestly, I think they're going to get Myles Garrett. Let's see. Giants are going to suck. If you look at the NFC South, Saints are going to suck. Falcons are going to, who knows? It could be okay.
They need a quarterback.
Bucks are going to be good. Falcons have Michael Penix.
Yeah, okay.
He's going to start next year.
Yeah. And then Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay is going to be good. Baker's awesome. Carolina's probably going to be better next year. Then you take a look at NFC North.
That's probably the most competitive one.
Yeah, Lions are probably going to be good still. I don't think they're going to be number one seed. I don't think they're going to be dominant. This was definitely their year to do it, especially when you knew you're going to have both coordinators, but losing both coordinators and Dan Campbell not necessarily being like the biggest X's and O's guy. I don't know.
Yeah, this was their chance, and I think they would have beat Kansas City too if they got to the Super Bowl.
I think they would have beat Kansas City. I don't think they would have. If the Lions were fully healthy, I still don't think they would have beaten us. All this excuses. Oh, the Lions their defense wasn't healthy. Their defense was. I'm like, if Mahomes didn't do well against this defense, what makes you think the Lions are? Like, if Mahomes couldn't beat us, what makes you think the Lions will? Goff laid an egg. I'm sorry. Like, Goff laid an egg.
Yep.
It wasn't because they didn't lose because their defense was hurt. They lost because they didn't rise to the occasion. You were at home and you played a rookie quarterback. You should have won. I don't care. If you're a good team, you find a way to win against a rookie quarterback.
Yep.
I don't care. So
And then they didn't just lose; they lost by double digits.
yeah,
They?
wasn't even close. Goff had how many picks? It's not like Washington has this
Four.
amazing defense. Like it wasn't the Lions defense that lost it for them. It was their offense. They sucked. So
Goff folded under pressure.
yeah.
But yeah,
Bears are going to be good. Probably Packers are going to be good.
Minnesota. We'll see.
I don't think Minnesota is going to be good. I don't know. They kind of got exposed at the end there, and I don't think McCarthy is going to be better than like Darnold was in his first year.
Yeah, we'll see what JJ does. Is it JJ?
Yeah.
And then the AFC West is up for grabs. Who knows who's going to win that?
Yeah.
I think the top teams are the Eagles. I think the Eagles and Lions, and then the second tier is Packers, Washington. Were Tampa Bay. That's the second tier. The third tier is probably the Bears, the Rams, Chicago, and Minnesota.
Chicago's going to have, I think Chicago and Carolina are my kind of dark horses to be good next year. I think if they both have good off seasons, they'll be good, especially Carolina. Carolina was trending upwards this year at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think Bryce Young. I think they're going to move forward with Bryce Young.
Yeah, he played awesome in the last couple games.
Yeah, after he got benched.
Yeah.
So getting benched was a wake up call. But and then the AFC, and you got the Bills. I think the Bills own that division. Unless you think Dolphins are going to be back.
No. Their Dolphins are soft. They're soft. Tyreek Hill's old. Jalen Waddle can't stay healthy. The offensive line sucks. Tua stinks. No, the Dolphins are frauds. I don't think they're going to be good.
So it's the Bills division. It's like the Patriots when the Patriots own that division.
Yeah, Patriots are probably going to be better. I think T. Higgins is going to be a Patriot. T. Higgins is actually going to the Patriots or the Commanders for sure. And then I think Patriots are going to get better. I don't think they're going to be good enough to win the division. Bills are only going to get better because people forget the Bills were in the rebuild year.
Yeah, and they forget. And considering they had that kind of the season they had, they're probably going to go after a wide receiver.
Yeah,
because that's all they're basically missing is a receiver, and then they improve that defense. The Bills.
What they're missing is a quarterback that can win, but so I got 7 or 8 months. I'm gonna talk so much shit about all these other quarterbacks, all these other teams in the league. I'm gonna speak extremely reckless until September, October of this year, because that's the fun of winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And then in the AFC North, I think the Bengals will be back. They get the defense straightened out, but their offense is legit. But they're going to lose T. Higgins.
They're definitely going to lose T. Higgins. The Bengals owners just don't spend. They got to pay T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Trey Hendrickson.
Don't they?
Yes. They tagged T. Higgins and they still have to pay Jamar Chase. They knew they were always going to re-sign Jamar Chase, and they didn't do it last offseason. They always knew they were going to do it, and now they have to pay more. It just doesn't make sense.
And
Why do you think Howie Roseman's so good?
got off to a slow start because of all that saga with Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Why do you think
Mhm.
Kyrie Roseman's as good as he is? Because he extends his players early. He extended Smitty before CeeDee Lamb, before all these other, not CeeDee Lamb, before a lot of these other receivers.
Yep.
People forget they extended AJ Brown this offseason.
Yeah.
Like I saw on ESPN, they were talking about, oh, the Eagles will be good next year if they can retain AJ Brown and Zach Bond. I'm like, this guy forgot that we extended AJ Brown, so we have him until like 2029. Like,
Yep.
so
And then the AFC West is the Chiefs division, just like the Bills is the AFC East, and the Eagles are the NFC East. So you got the Eagles, the Bills, and Chiefs who are basically.
I don't think it's a foregone conclusion it's the Chiefs division. I really, really think that
Denver.
the Chiefs progress. No, the Chargers.
Oh.
It could be Denver, but like, yeah, I know the Chargers laid an egg, but look at that roster. Like, it's not like they're honestly in a soft rebuild and they made the playoffs. And Harbaugh's an awesome coach. They just did terrible in the playoff, but
No, the reason I said Denver is because they had a top 3 defense. So
yeah, Surtain won the defense player of the year. So you have Denver, you have the Chargers. You probably are going to have a rebuilding Chiefs team. So the Chiefs, they're going to have to go into a soft rebuild. They have to retool the offensive line. They have so much money tied up in an offensive line that's not producing right now. They're not going to have a high draft pick, so they're not going to be able to go draft like a bona fide player and the many needs they need. Like, I think the Chiefs are entering a soft rebuild here, to be quite honest. Travis Kelce's probably gone. He's not the Travis Kelce he was before. So I'd be shocked if they were as good next year as they were the last few years. I'd be shocked.
And does Andy Reid retire?
He said he's staying through 29, I think.
Oh, okay. So 4 more years?
I'm pretty sure he just signed an extension. Yeah. So
I think Kelce comes back 1 more year.
I think Kelce comes back because he's owed a lot of money. So, I mean, we should do a podcast taking a look at all these contracts. But, yeah,
we will.
It does not look good for the Chiefs.
Yeah, we'll do a preview for the offseason when you get back on your trip.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, I don't know what happened to Cleneth, but he might have fell asleep.
All good.
Yeah. But good talking. I have to get ready for another. I have to do a breakdown with Doug and Daniel. So,
okay.
From Raw last night. Raw was pretty good. Raw's been pretty good lately. So,
yeah, I feel like I haven't watched a lot, but I feel like from what I'm hearing and seeing, maybe not week in and week out, but like on average, the WWE product has been like very solid. Yeah. So that's all you can really ask for.
Exactly. And as much as people give shit for AEW, they still put on some good wrestling shows here and there, but it's not like WWE. So, how much people give shit for AEW, they still put on a solid show, especially pay-per-views. So,
yeah, I agree.
I think wrestling fans just give too much shit for AEW, but they're not WWE. They're never going to be WWE. They weren't supposed to be WWE. They're a wrestling. They retired. They want to be a wrestling. Put on wrestling matches. WWE is all around. They put storylines. They have wrestling matches. They do everything. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
But always good talking. We'll talk later.
Sounds good.
Catch you later. Yeah.
Sounds good. Talk to you later.
Hey, bro.
Later. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I'll be back on that in about maybe 45 minutes for unscripted for the wrestling through the years for the breakdown with Doug and Daniel. and maybe if Cleneth, I don't know. But we'll be back within 3 years and on here on Unscripted Sports Show simulcasting. So check that out and see you later. Hold on. Let's do this.